I'm putting some information sometimes out there that I'm aware that make you feel really uncomfortable. Yet, it's really, really important that you hear the information, stay with it, and see how you feel. So today I want to tell you something which is very, very important and very simple at the same time, although it escapes you from your daily life. There was a space in time where the working conditions, specifically working 9 to 5, had its place. It was within the context of the times. Yet time passed, humanity shifted, our consciousness shifted, and we reached the point, and we way past it, where 9 to 5 is actually working against us. There's a time where we are creative. There's a time where we want to work, we want to sleep, we want to eat. Working 8 hours because somebody told you it has to be 9 to 5, I understand the functionality, I've been there, is killing your creativity. You're going against yourself. And you may be becoming counterproductive. It's as simple as that. We manage to create the conditions so we can work at times that are pleasing to us rather than having to go with the natural cycles, which means in the past, humans had to work within specific times of the day because of light. We don't have such an issue anymore. I'm not saying that you need to work during the night, because even that is dangerous because you go against your natural cycles. But my point here is to give you something today to think about. Having a very, very programmed daily schedule has its limits, because we are not all the same. You have your natural cycles and your biological clock, and you may be very productive for 4 hours a day, which which are these 4 hours. It's not the same for all of us. Some people work very well in the morning, others in the evening. So if I ask you to work 9 to 5, you may be going against your natural rhythm, your biological clock, and you may be not productive. So if I'm your employer, I might be thinking he's not good enough. So 9 to 5 was introduced. Actually, it was born to work for 8 hours. I believe it was in the 1840s. It came around. Before that, people were working for many more hours. So after a lot of work and requests and protests, we reached the point of 8 hours. But even that was a win for the time. Now, the 9 to 5 doesn't make sense anymore. Instead of working for yourself, for what is good for you, for when is it that is you are productive, you're following a pattern because you were told that this is the way to do things. So many generations before us came with a 9 to 5. And today we're reaching the point some time ago where having 8 hours work and then going home, you are one of the lucky ones, because most people work more hours. So what I'm telling you today, the 9 to 5, you may be laughing and say, I wish it was 9 to 5. It's much more than that. My point here is that this system is not serving you, is not serving us anymore. It's not even serving the system anymore. It serves only the few. So why am I saying that few are served by keeping this system? Some are keeping it and they're even unaware. There are other ways around it. But you see, if a system is fixed and there are some rules, we fall under specific categories and we obey. We're following the rules. I'm not telling you to go against it. I want you to start thinking why this is not serving us anymore, and it serves the few. If you have a big part of the population working under these specific conditions, and you are different, and you are having workers, you may be actually keeping them as, I'm sorry, I'm going to use the word slaves. They are your slaves. This is slavery. When we are in the time where we have all the conditions, the technology, the industry, everything in place so we can do things differently, and we don't, that means that something is there, something is not working, and it's kept in place because something else is happening. What is that something that is happening? And of course, the privilege of thinking is not just for the few, it's for everyone. Because at one point or another in time, I'm absolutely sure, whoever you are watching right now, you have thought and you have felt and you have sensed that something is wrong. Somebody's taking advantage of you. In which case, you will manage at some point to take advantage of somebody else simply because you've been abused. If you're being abused all the time, what you're being taught to do is to abuse. So easily you can do to others what you have experienced. It's a vicious cycle. To break through, you need to think, I'm doing this and I don't feel comfortable. How can I change this for myself? And possibly if I change this to myself, I can help others shift as well. These are the questions. And these questions, my friend, is not just for me or for very few that have the time or it's their profession to think about this stuff. These are questions that everybody should be asking. We have the technology in place to create amazing things and we don't. Why? Ask, what can I do to contribute to a change? Do I want things to change? And you may tell me, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not having my own business. How can I do that? Before you create something like a business or work in an organization, you need to reply, or actually you need to ask these questions and have an answer. Because if you know what serves you and what serves you, you will not find in a specific organization. You should not go and work in this organization. Or you can go and talk to the manager or whoever is responsible and say, look, I'm productive in these hours, I'm good at this, I'm being honest with you, can you use me? This is the deal. If you come to work for me and I'm asking you to do things that you cannot deliver because for whichever reason you have the potential, but you don't know which are the times you're operating better, which are the things you're good at, how are you going to be very productive? How are you going to be happy with what you deliver? And how are you going to make happy your employer? And now you may be laughing, because you're saying to me, if you could, you would tell me, well, you know what? I cannot find somewhere to work, which means I will compromise because I want to go wherever. I need to survive. I hear you. However, by doing that, not just you, everybody, we have killed the market. We have killed the system. We have killed parts of ourselves. We are not passionate. We are not engaging. We don't love what we're doing. We are not productive. And we are stealing each other's position because if you go and do a work that is not for you, that means you deprive somebody else of the work, that work, which would be for that person. And in the same token, somebody else has taken what is yours. So, in effect, we don't respect each other because we don't respect ourselves. This is how you start playing with boundaries. And you don't start by saying, I cannot do that because you say, let me find out what it is for me. And then I will see what I can do for that. This is where you start from. In some things, there's no better time than the present time. And why am I saying this? Because each era, each decade, each century has its own struggles and challenges. And you may think that, well, we are in a crisis. I cannot do anything about that. I'm going wherever they tell me to go. This was the case of many generations back. My generation suffered. Generations before me suffered. Generations after us are suffering. People that are just now in the university and they're going to finish or just finishing high school, they won't be able to find work easily. So we're just passing the same energy we are transmitting. It changed form. The energy is shifting, and yet whatever remains unresolved, I want you to hear this, whatever remains unresolved, it passes on to the next generation to be resolved. The problems don't go away. Nobody takes them away from us. We create, we leave behind, next generations are taking over, and it goes on. We are here in the present moment, and we need to deal with our shit. And now you will tell me, if these are not my shit, why should I take them over and resolve them? But this is what everybody does. At some point, we need to take responsibility. We need to claim what is ours. Because, my friend, if you have chosen to incarnate now, and you are here in this present moment, you are part of the system of what has been, what is, and what will be, which means you have accepted already to be part of the system. So what is here already is yours as well. And at some point, we need to claim our power, accept our responsibility, and start acting. It has to happen. If we don't, things don't move. Energy shift, we are given chances, and sometimes there's a lot of brutality. Why? Because we don't act in time. We only act when we are at the edge where things are going to collapse. And if we don't act even then things will start collapsing, and then we have to deal with the inevitable. So what is the inevitable? The inevitable is what came and hit you in the head, and you're going to say, it just came to me. I couldn't do anything. So when it came to me, I had to react, or I didn't have time to react. So we never claim responsibility. It's always something that comes outside of us and hits us, and we are just what? Victims. I'm here to tell you that yes and no. This is not the case. You are not a victim. I am not a victim. It happens that yes, something from the outside is going to come and hit us because we are blind, we are fallen in consciousness, we are not fully awakened. And even if we are, sometimes we don't know how to act, what to do. Pause for a moment. You're not a victim. The fact that you're here right now in the present moment means that you're fully equipped to react and survive the circumstances.